I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah. You know I be on a what? Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah.
What's up, and welcome to another exciting adventure of Ride the Rebellion, the only zero drop podcast in the known universe. We dropped a few notches. Pink Bike is now ahead of us on the top mountain bike podcast. I need you guys to take that power back. I'll post the link down below. I think it's a scam, but I think you should do it anyway, right? Pink Bike is not better than we are. We beat Pink Bike for a while. We dropped. Where were we at?
We beat it till it was Pink Bike.
No. We were like 14.
No, we were 12.
We were 12. We dropped a few notches. We have not apparently hit some grand slams.
No, we didn't advertise. Probably.
That's also probably it. And with me today, as always, is the king of the South Alabama turd down.
That's what it is now at this point.
You guys ever seen a turd down?
A turd down. For what?
King of the South Alabama turd down and world's best mermaid, Dale Boyd.
Yeah.
Of Dale Boyd Mermaid Man.
So that video went like, we have way cool bike videos all the time and no one watches them. Somehow really, that video is like the most ridiculous.
It's because it's a fat guy.
That's true.
Standing there with no shirt on, holding a beer on the 4th of July weekend.
Yeah. And
then another dude pops out of the water like a
with kids around.
With children.
Yeah.
And it's probably, I'm sure it's going around on, what is that new thing? Thread.
Oh, God.
It's going around on Thread I don't know. I'm sure people enjoyed it. Who knows?
Hey, it does have a ton of views though. Instagram put it through the algorithm ringer and it passed the test. So.
Oh, sweet.
Apparently
DJ, I will be right with you. Stand by. We got to get through our stuff, but if you can hang out for a few minutes.
Apparently the people want to see us naked. That's what we figured out.
That's what it was. I mean, whatever, gun show.
Coming soon, OnlyFans.
Yeah, OnlyFans it is. So if you guys don't know what we've done this episode, because we didn't have a direct guest on, we've decided to make it open. It's an open call. Anyone can be a guest. But how do you become a guest? You say, well, you head on over to the Ride the Rebellion private Facebook group that you can join and also potentially win your money back in a shirt.
That's right. Yeah. And other people have won their money back. They've gotten it.
Yeah. Apparently, if your name is Eric, you have better odds of winning.
That's true. 2 Erics in a row.
Erics win.
2 Erics, 1 prize.
2 Erics, 1 prize.
2 prizes, actually, technically.
So I think you'll be able to see DJ from over. Can you see my monitor at all?
I can see, yeah. I just can't read it.
He's going to come. His volume should come through. It should be fine.
Okay, cool.
This could be a complete shit show. We'll see what happens.
That's fine. I'm good with it.
Yeah, we enjoy it.
Like, that's why we're number 12 in the world. But
Pink Bike isn't doing this.
Because they're shitty.
Right.
And
nobody else
they're
is.
too professional. Like, no, listen.
They have a lot more money.
But mountain bikers can relate to our inability to do things, right? Because they're average at best, most mountain bikers. So they're not professionals. I can't even relate to those Pink Bike ass hats.
But I am professional. So what does that say about me?
Well, you're just testing things you're testing things for clients because this is a better way to test
for
live.
influencers.
Yeah, for influencers. Yes. I don't know. Tangent.
That's the third. That's going to be the season 3 jersey. Season. Listen, if you guys have not seen them, the only way you can see them is if you're a Reb member, or you get lucky enough that we show up
at your event.
No, the new jerseys dropped, and we're very proud of them. We may make a T-shirt inspired by the new jersey.
Just go with it. Just go. They're great. This is probably the best we've ever done. They're huge.
Huge. But we're very excited about the new jerseys. They look fantastic. I think maybe we'll talk about making a T-shirt version of those so that they'll stand out. They're really good. Very happy about them. Speaking of T-shirts, there's a certain sponsor of ours that owes us money. Now, listen, I'm not going to lie to you, but I'll be straight up. If I needed to go get some expert guidance on riding bikes, I would look no further than Toby Cortez and Nina Simone. I don't know Nina's last name. Nina Simone. That's a jazz singer. I don't know Nina's last name. But Toby and Nina from Dirt Coaster Academy. However, if I were running a T-shirt waffle contest on Facebook, I wouldn't trust that dude to pay me. I'm just kidding. I'm calling you out, but I'm not calling you out. If you haven't been or paid attention to anything that we've put out, they've been putting out some content too. Head over to dirtcoasteracademy.com, see where they're doing a class. You can also follow them on all the socials. They do a very good job of deploying information on the social side. I suggest you go over there and check them out. Again, we've talked about how good their skills have been and beneficial to us. I have now seen multiple riders that have gone through the course, not just Justina, our token person, but we've also seen, sounds terrible. I just didn't.
Our producer. There you
Our
go.
token producer. I've also seen other guys and gals go through it. The thing is, I've seen the riding get better. I've seen people tackle stuff. Chris hit something straight blind and hit it like a boss. So I'm proud of him. So anyway, so if you haven't, head over to dirtcoasteracademy.com. They're running a really good show over there.
And just when you talk about running, just yesterday I spent my morning on the Birth of America birthday.
Yeah.
And I ran with Run and Try and an amazing group. Aaron had a huge, massive Mobile running community following yesterday. It was like 70 some people or more there. We ran a 5K and we ate and we drank and we got out of there.
No, that's fantastic.
And he had some shoe deals, so it's cool. Everybody had some fun.
Everybody has fun with the shoe deals.
Hey, listen, when the heat is on, you've got to find a way to beat the heat. And there's really only one other way to beat the heat, and that's with some new ink. And where would you go to get that?
I don't even fully get how beating. If you need to beat let me tell you, the coldest air conditioner in the entire state of Alabama happens to be at Man of War Tattoo. So you're absolutely right.
That's right.
Now the catch is you're going to have to get a tattoo. It doesn't have to be a big one. It can be a small one.
Yeah, right.
Though Kevin won't really take you unless you agree to get a sleeve. But that's fine.
Or stick figures.
Or stick figures. But if you haven't checked out Kevin's work, I do suggest it. If you're listening to this and you're a mountain biker and you're thinking about a tattoo, you already have a tattoo, you need some more work done or you want some new work or whatever it may be, think about the fact that like Kevin legitimately races. He wins races. He does stupid shit on his bike. He's actually a really, really nice guy and fun guy to hang out with. And he's a freaking great artist. Mm-hmm. He's like fantastic at what he does. So I do suggest that you head over to Man of War Tattoo. You can follow him on all the socials and all that stuff too. And you can check him out. It is definitely well worth it.
Yeah, you could get inked up to contribute or to signify your trip down here riding with us.
Oh, that'd be a
good
one.
idea. Come ride with us and get some tats.
I mean, nothing will get you inked up more than being lucky.
Yeah. There's the only way to get lucky, and that's early in the morning with a fresh brew.
Can we take to it?
Go.
I got a better one.
Okay,
I got a better one. That's right. So don't forget to head on over and maybe grab a cup of black coffee with Kevin Black.
And maybe you'll get lucky with Lucky Shot.
No, dude, black coffee. Speaking of coffee.
Hey, no, we can't do it. Every time it goes black, there always ends up being like a black dick joke in there, and I can't do it.
Well, you could have been like, speaking of coffee. Speaking of coffee, I enjoy mine black, like Kevin.
I think I need to take more dirt coaster classes so I don't trip and stumble over obstacles.
No, that's true. I understand. I did have a very good friend bust their toe recently, so shout out to his little pinky toe. He's now broken his left pinky toe and right pinky toe.
Oh, poor toes.
You know what they say? Toes before
You know what they say. The only way to beat the heat is with a nice cup of Lucky Shot coffee.
Oh, my God. Do you like sweating? Because we do at Ride the Rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's our sponsor. We had DJ. We lost DJ. There's somebody in the audience hanging out right now. I'm not sure totally who it is. It doesn't really show me since this is new technology. We have somebody hanging out.
From the FCC?
Maybe.
Yeah, you know me.
Well, they've got to be. Because I don't think I've posted the link anywhere else. It could be Ed Dudes. It could be, I don't know who it is. It's Jaime.
It's probably my wife.
Maybe.
She's not even a fan, so I don't know why it would be.
They're hanging out. They're in the group. Here we go. So we weren't really planning on doing a whole lot with the show today, more than just having the pod for the pod's sake. But part of the thing that I was thinking about, I was going to ask you about, and making it a little more of a raw conversation is, how the fuck are we going to deal with this shit?
The heat?
Yeah, boy.
I don't know, man. I've been trying to cut, like I've been changing my training strategies a little bit. Like
you run late though.
Sometimes. Yeah, but yeah.
I'm talking about like 9 a.m. is late.
I know. The other day I ran at like 11:30 or 12 because I went to the Reb and rode, and then I was like, I got home and I sat down for a second. I was like, man, I'm not done. I went and ran 3 miles like a freaking idiot. But I don't know. There's no way to beat it. You just gotta. It's like a sore. You just can't beat it.
I once saw a business card that had like it was for was for like a kid shelter, and I'm not making this up. And it said, "Kids, you just can't beat them."
Oh.
And I'm not even making that up. Like it was, I looked at it, and either it was given to me as a prank, which I don't think it was. It had a panda on it. I don't know why that makes it legit, but in my brain it does. But it was like a legit thing.
Was it Asian with the panda thing?
No, the place wasn't.
Oh.
I think it was just like a panda. Pandas seem gentle. They'll rip your face off, but they seem gentle maybe.
They sleep a lot, I think.
Yeah.
So
I watch videos of panda falling out of trees. That's my new favorite pastime.
I've watched that video too. It's pretty funny.
There's more.
That's all the thing.
Yeah, you can go down the YouTube channel and just watch nothing but pandas falling out of trees for hours.
YouTube is great for everything, I think.
Yeah, they're delightful.
So, what do you have any beat the heat tricks?
No, I don't, and that's the problem. Is like here's the thing that's really scary for me. The past few times, we're fine. We obviously drink. I pre-drink a lot of water.
Mm-hmm.
That's one. I drink a ton, as much as water as I humanly possibly can muster
Mm-hmm.
before I go ride, so I don't feel sick either. It's a balancing act. They're not an official sponsor yet, but I did switch up my entire water regimen or whatever. My stuff, it's right there. Limit, that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I switched over to that stuff.
Is it Limit or Element?
Elemento P.
I think it's Element.
Element, whatever it is.
I don't know. It's pretty sweet though. It is really good if you're trying to stay back on your sugars.
Oh, it's really good. It's salty as
Yeah.
boy. But I switched over to that stuff, and it's helped a good bit. That's my while I'm riding drink.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't suggest hammering a bunch of those because it's got a lot of magnesium. Magnesium is one of the active ingredients that makes you blow it out.
Well, the salt will too sometimes.
Yeah. So I did that, and then I think the thing that's bothering me lately is I was on keto, so I had to be really cautious. And I started smelling ammonia, which means I'm burning proteins, which sucks because that's muscle. I wish fat smelled like that. That'd be great. I'd be like, I'm burning a lot. I'm doing good. Fat doesn't have an odor. Anyway, my vision starts going and I can feel it. And then it takes forever for my vision. Like I don't necessarily need glasses. I can see fine without them. They just give me a little resolution bump.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking about my vision gets blurry to a point where it's like, I don't feel bad, but it gets more and more difficult to see. And then it takes 2, 3, 4, 5 hours for it to fully recover back to like where.
Does your heart rate go high when it's like that?
Yep.
Because the heat's making your heart rate elevated. Yeah. I've noticed that. Like I've been trying to do, I got a new watch, so now I can actually, my watch works better than my old one. So I can do heart rate runs. So I did a run last week at.
Let's bring DJ in.
Okay. Heart rate runs.
DJ joining the show. Yo,
hey.
What's up?
Hey.
How are you?
I'm okay. Getting ready for work.
Are those the reindeer?
Where?
I don't know. I heard bells. It sounds like bells.
Look, it's cranks.
See, he's a real mountain biker.
I've got one of those new fancy Cane Creek preload adjusters, and I just put it on because the plastic one was junk.
Oh, is that off your new bike?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, right on. Right on.
So that's what I do in between working overtime shifts.
We were just talking about like the whole idea of this heat situation. Do you've lived here most of your life, if not all? Is that fair?
Yeah.
What do you do
38 years.
38 years worth. There you go. God, you're a young guy. What do you do to deal with that heat side of things?
Look, complain a lot. Find something else the heat. I don't know. It's one of those things that it's just so ubiquitous when it comes to living in the South. It's just something you deal with all the time. I think that just getting out there and get started. Like once you get soaked in sweat, that's the worst part. It really doesn't get any worse. It's kind of like, okay, I'm already out here. I'm already doing this. It's just part of it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like once you go ahead,
drink lots of stuff.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Like once you commit, it's a good point. Like once you commit, you just kind of go with it and crank it from there.
Then you end up soaking with the Todd,
soaking
with
the
sweat.
With sweat.
We're gonna have to make the soaking with Todd episodes. You're gonna have to be ice baths.
Oh, that's genius.
The desire to stay is limited.
No, I love it. That's brilliant. Absolutely love it. So while we got you, just because that's what we do on the show, let me start with this. How long have you been riding? Like, what is your would you call yourself, what level of rider are you? And you don't have to sandbag if your name's not Pat. You don't have to sandbag.
Um, so I've basically been riding, trails my entire life. I've been, I grew up on a farm in, really rural area, and there was some land that kind of backs up to my parents' property that was it's like state property or something. Nobody's doing anything with it. There's always woods and game trails and that kind of stuff, and that's where we rode our bikes. So I've been riding bikes on trails since I was a kid, but I really started kind of taking it more seriously about 2013. I kind of got on a health kick and was attempting to lose weight and be a little more active, and riding bikes was just what I enjoyed to do. That I never took it seriously enough then to actually gain a whole lot of ground. I kind of,
You mean in terms of weight
would go,
loss?
yeah, in terms of weight loss or getting better, I just never took it seriously enough to actually work on things to get better. So I didn't have a whole lot of success with that. And then I had a pretty bad crash at Chickasaw and actually tore my rotator cuff, and that put me off the bike for, I don't know, 6 months. And then I kind of broke the habit of just going out there on a regular basis. I kept my mountain bike. I went and rode from time to time, but in 2020, I went on a pretty serious health kick. I was about 350 pounds, and I took to riding for exercise again and started taking my diet more seriously. And I lost 140 pounds. I got down to around 200 pounds, and that's when I really saw the the difference in my riding. I was like, I've got a lot of fitness to actually work on being a better rider, and I worked on that pretty hard. And I was felt pretty accomplished. I was seeing a lot of progression, and over the last couple of years, there's been several things that have kind of interrupted my ability to come ride as much as I would like to. So fitness comes and goes, but I've gained a little bit of weight back, but I'm working on it back off now, and I'm taking the skills more seriously, because I know how a crash and an injury can really put you off, and being strong and being good and safe are helpful. So I don't. I took a pretty bad spill here about a month ago at Standing Boy, and I'm kind of kicking myself for that, and that's kind of got me back to, not doing things that you shouldn't do when you're out of practice.
No, I totally get it. I mean, I was just on the phone with Joey Pants that he took a spill at Ride Beham and broke his collarbone or whatever he broke.
Yeah.
Do you remember what it was?
It was a shoulder. I don't know. It was a shoulder injury.
Yeah, shoulder injury. Sorry, Joey. We don't know what it is. But Joey was in the same boat. Like, he went through this whole thing. And I was telling him I've had like 4 or 5 nasty ones. I put the x-rays up behind me as a joke. But, like, I had like this terrible knee injury that came from it and ended up being what was it called?
Puscitis?
Puscitis. Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. He caught me off guard. I didn't know.
I ended up having like, it was like just my knee was swollen, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Point being is like, it still gets in your brain. So there's 2 things that happen. One, you're like, man, I got to get better at this so I don't have that happen again. It's like, okay, focus, practice, do better. And that's one side. Then the other side for me is like getting over like that whole idea of like, I can't afford to eat shit like that again.
Right.
Like, that was a bad. I mean, it took me out of riding for a couple weeks.
Yeah. Hopefully, DJ, you notice this, and I try to do it as much as I can. But like anybody that's been out for a while or like injury, like hopefully the community can help you get back to riding. If like not you personally, but like somebody that's injured or something, maybe you didn't have that support in the past to be like, hey,
Well,
you're not missing anything. Now it's like you don't want to miss it.
yeah. Well, that's something that I really love about the community that we've kind of, you guys have been at the head of building, even, the group rides at South and that kind of stuff. It's like, that's something that I've noticed from, when I first started riding in 2013, like you could barely find a group then to now, where not only are there, there's a community just about every time you go out to the trails, but it's like they're encouraging, they're inclusive. And the last group ride I went to at South, I had just started back on keto pretty hard. I probably wasn't eating strict enough, and I was having these god awful low blood sugar dips. And I go out and I make it just a couple of miles in, and I'm really struggling. And Carrie is there, and she's just ahead of me, and she keeps stopping and letting me catch up. And I told her, I was like, look, I think my blood sugar is kind of dipping out. We got to a place where I could get back to the truck pretty easy. And, she pretty quickly recognized that I was almost incoherent. My blood sugar had dipped so low. So, she was like, let me walk out with you. And I said, no. I said, I know where I'm at. I'm good. Let's go. But just to have that encouragement, and I waited for the truck for everybody to come back so I could get the shot of them coming back into the parking lot. But it's like, that kind of thing doesn't exist everywhere, and it hasn't always existed in our community here. But yes, whenever I'm in my head, there's nobody going to shame me for taking beelines on everything. I make that joke all the time. I'm like, I'm gonna sweep back here so I can take all the beelines and not be in anybody's way. But it's like sometimes you just feel that way, and then you spend some time out with a group. Sometimes that instills enough confidence for you to just keep progressing. It's good.
Yeah, I love it about it. And you too, like, you spend a lot of time in the woods because biking and your photography hobby like go hand in hand, right? So you get to be in the woods taking all different angles, even than what we see sometimes. So that's pretty cool to see your view. It's cool to see like what you see in the woods, in the same woods that I'm in, that I might not see, through the lens of your camera instead of our eyes. So that's pretty cool. I just wanted to say.
Do you ride when you go shoot? Do you ride with gear on your back?
No, I don't. I've tried a couple of times. I actually, I bought one of these kid trailers so that I could just toss all my camera equipment in it to kind of tow them around. But I haven't had much success or luck with that. It's just usually when I'm going out specifically for nature photography, I'm on foot.
No, I get it. I just was curious.
Almost keep the two things separate. But I'll tell you, I actually do a good bit of scouting on the bike, for places I might want to go shoot or that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was interesting. It's definitely where when we were filming, and that video's live on Chase's in the chat somewhere, but that video's live up in their world and on ours, so you can go find it. But that video we did, like, we had the packs on, we had all the gear we were carrying around. We kind of talked about it last episode, but it was one of those ones for me where I was like, man, I have this Pelican backpack that's got a hard shell.
Yeah.
My weight's enough that I'd probably still shatter it, but at least maybe it would save my gear. But it's definitely like, I saw there was a guy up there that was filming for
all over himself. Yeah. Dirt Life Media. If you give him a shout out.
Is that who it is?
Yeah.
Like him and his wife from Dirt, or girlfriend, or whoever, his partner, this woman that was, they would just no helmets and ride it. I mean, no joke, but strapped with gear. I mean, he had full blown. He had 300 mils. He had 300 millimeter lenses, 200 millimeter. I mean, and just riding. They both had e-bikes. They rode down Storyteller like that.
Yeah.
My brain can't even. It makes me feel like such a wiener now. It's not even funny.
Yeah, I like to do a lot of nature and wildlife stuff up in the Smokies, and I have ridden, ridden around Cades Cove and that kind of places. Some of those pretty popular destinations for photographers, and taking camera gear with me. But I find that my cell phone's actually good enough. If I find something I just have to shoot,
It's changed a lot now. Like, a lot of that stuff has been a huge difference. Like when I was younger, it cell phones were like, no, never take a photo with it. And now it's kind of like, I shot all this stuff in a foreign country. I think I've already talked about, but I'm not going to say it anymore just for incrimination reasons. But like, I filmed a bunch, and the quality of the content. I mean, my phone was shooting ProRes RAW, which is like stupid. It's like high grade stuff. So I think, not to say that go out and do that, because the artistry is not in the technology. The artistry is in the composition, but like getting after it for sure.
But
I think kind of the old mantra of the best camera is the one that you have. So, I mean,
also, I think that like we can tie this all in with physical health, mental health, and just getting your ass outside to do something, right? Yeah. Like that's kind of what you just alluded to, DJ, is like your physical health got better from mountain biking, and now you're outside, and then maybe you took up photography because you're like, I'm outside, I'm seeing all these cool things, I want to share them with other people, and now it's like, damn, now wait, our mental health is better. So
here's my thing, though. This goes back to the heat stuff, not to make it a full circle thing. And I think it's really interesting, DJ, you brought those points up because about your health and that journey. So like for me, biking and we can share the link. I think it finally got published. I think it's published. The report about mental health
mental health
from Sorba. But like the mental health of riding for me is crucial. Like if you follow me personally on social, this is not a call out to do that. It's at Nameless Ben, but you don't have to follow me. Chase and I have talked about it before. Where it's
one
like,
good thing.
there it is. See, you knew about it. One good thing. Well, I do that because I struggle with major depression. And that one good thing, I'm trying to get my girls to have a different outlook on the world, but I have a depression issue. That just gives me a little bit of grounding. Like just saying it reminds me of like, hey man, you had fun in that moment. So nothing could be, it's just a personal thing. But biking is the other side of that.
Right.
But when it gets this hot, that much oppression, that's where I start to really struggle. The oppressive heat cranks up my depressive state. And then I'm like, I just don't feel like riding. And then it just sends me down this path.
Yeah.
So I'm going to a question. And my question would be for both of you, and we'll start with DJ, is how important to you now, like, and it doesn't have to be about depression. That's my journey. But how important is riding for you, or photography, I guess, if you we're a mountain bike show, but we talk about all kinds of shit. But how important is it for you now that you've gone through it? How important is riding or whatever for your mental health?
Dude, it is. It's like it's the one thing that really does keep me grounded and level, and it keeps me motivated to continue to get better, because riding, especially mountain bikes, is one of those things. It's like when your time on the bike suffers, your skills suffer, and it can be one of the most rewarding and defeating things at the same time sometimes. But to me, that's a good thing, because every now and then you need to kind of go out and get your ass kicked and kind of remind you of the work and the fruits of that work that you put in. So yeah, I mean, it's one of the most important things in my life. I would say top 3 for sure.
Go ahead, Dale.
I think that riding for me is a gateway to the social side of it. Like I need the socialness from our friend group afterwards. Like I look forward to that as much, because as men, we have to compartmentalize a lot of things. A lot of times, like to even say you have a depression, Drew, is like there was a time and place where you wouldn't have said that as a man.
Oh,
right?
Sure.
So like when we go out in these groups, yeah, we joke and we laugh and we say dumb shit, but sometimes there's some emotional things that happen out there that's like, you can't repeat it because it's not, first of all, it was like confidential conversation maybe, but like it's something that happens in amongst men in a space, and I don't say not men, but there's only men there generally, but in a space where men aren't supposed to do that, outside in the woods in our hunter and gatherer state. But it like takes us back to this like primal, like we need each other as much as we need the bike, and the bike is just the tool to get us together. And I think that to me has been more powerful than anything. Like I'm at the point now where I enjoy biking, obviously. Like I wouldn't do it if I didn't, but the social side and like the happiness I see from other people when they're on their bike, or that's what the Reb has done for me more than anything, is like we've built a lot of it. So like to see somebody's reaction or their happiness while they're there, like shout out Jeff McGill. He's been blowing me up because he loves it so much. And he's like, he's mad that he waited for so long. And like, he goes, I need this for my mental health to like get better. And I want to be there. I want to be around the crew. So I think shout out to our whole community really for providing me that.
But what's interesting is
I'll add to that.
Good.
I'll add to that with a quick story that, So, okay, I work shift work, so I hardly ever know what day it is. But this coming weekend will be 2 weeks ago. I went to Dirt Church, and the week prior to that was super tough. I have a 6-year-old son. He's autistic. Man, he is a genius, and that is hard to contend with sometimes because of just how much intensity and how much energy there is there with him. And he requires a lot of attention, a lot of input from me, from my wife, from everybody around him. And we'd been on vacation the week before. We went camping down in Gulf Shores for his birthday. And, man, it had been an absolute roller coaster of a week, from bad weather to truck problems and camper problems. And then his attitude had deteriorated throughout the week because of all the difficulties and several things that were going on. And then we all got back home on Saturday, and we had family over for his birthday, which is particularly stressful for me and him to get in these big groups of people. And man, he and I had a blow up against each other. And it was just because I was doing what I thought I needed to do in the moment, and so was he. And we kind of just got to a point where our communication was broken. And that usually takes some time to repair. But Sunday morning, I told my wife, I said, I'm going to get up and go ride bikes. And I didn't know whether anybody would even be there or not because, I knew some of you guys were out of town. But when I get there, man, there's Aaron and Clayton and, Jacob was there. And it was like just getting out away from all that and talking to those guys about something that I care about for a few minutes made a huge difference. I mean, it really does.
Yeah, I think it's something that I think, again, it's funny because of this show, we've talked about how dominated by men this industry is. We had I almost had Boris sitting here. We had, I can see his face. Why can't Philip, thank you. We had Philip sitting here, and we have this whole dialogue about that side of it. The crazy part to me is, like, that's also, there's a weird part about mountain biking that I think when you're out on the trail side and you're scouting trails, that's that hunter-gatherer vibe.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking about it, and I told Dale this is like, for me, something happens where I'm getting ready to go ride, and I know I'm going to push myself that day with you guys. Like we're like, I'm going to allow them to pull me a little bit further along my journey. Then in my mind, it's like I'm going to war. And I'm not comparing any of this to anything. Thank you for your service, military stuff. Thank you again. But like, it is that mindset of like, I'm going in there to do a job, and I'm going to kick ass at it. So then but again, it's a male dominated space, and the one thing we don't talk about, and it's weird to people, and it's, you don't say these, like, you don't have that bits of dialogue, but it could be the smallest thing. It could be like, we don't experience what you're experiencing, so it's not that any of that stuff is small, but I don't know the gravity of that situation on your side. You could say it's tough, and I'm like, got it, I get it, it's tough, but then you come out there, so you never know, I guess, is my point.
Yeah, that's the funny thing.
That's what a community is,
right?
though.
To me, yeah, and to interrupt you, I'm not even gonna say but to interrupt you, it's like you could jump out of your truck and have the shittiest week ever, and I'm gonna say the dumbest thing to you that I would, not knowing anything that happened to you that week, right? And it's almost like, oh wait, it brings you back as a person back to reality. Like, shit, my problems are what they are. Like, not everybody is dealing with it, and here we can be, like, he's got his own problems. Maybe he's masking them by talking shit to me, whatever. Sure. But then 5 minutes later, we're laughing about it, and it's like, for just like you said, just to forget about something sometimes is really good. But I think that a lot of times we think we're alone, right? As men, we think we're alone in those issues or problems. Did we lose him?
No, he's back.
No, he's back. So, but we think we're alone.
Telling me that it's time to go to work.
Oh, well, hey, like, if you do jump off, just so you know, just it'll show you an upload thing, because it's actually uploading the raw video and audio, just FYI. I should have probably explained this. Okay. So you don't have to stay on the chat anymore, but it'll probably just keep the app open, and it'll upload real quick from your Wi-Fi. It's already 99% there, so it's the last, like, 5-10%. That's all we need.
Cool. Well, I do have to go because that was my alarm to get out the door. But, man, appreciate you guys. Everything you're doing, I enjoy it.
Thanks for hanging out with us, buddy. I got your Fox sticker. You're number one. You're our first official random guest. So welcome to guest roulette.
Yeah, I think I've got a jersey and a T-shirt somewhere I need to get from Dale too, but I haven't. Yeah, I think I'm on my 8th straight day right now. So yeah, I might can make it out to FNL this Friday. That's what I'm hoping.
Oh, we'd love to have you.
Sounds good.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much, DJ.
See you, dude.
All right, bye.
Bye. Well, there you go. There's our first one. That went pretty well. Good, deep conversation. I think it's interesting, some of the stuff that he brought up. There's Dirty Uncle Chase is in the chat. I don't know if he's going to join us or not, but I think it's kind of interesting, some of the stuff DJ brought up. I think a lot of times one of the things I've noticed has been, we often when we talk about health and mountain biking, the number one thing is generally weight loss.
Right.
But as we get older, I think the conversation should be fitness. Weight is important. Obviously, you want to do something about it. But fitness, if your fitness level's better, that's going to give you more longevity than weight. Some people are just going to carry it. Like, there's no way around it. It's who you are genetically. But if you're in good shape or you have good fitness, then it's not just that the riding's good. Then your body's like, hey man, I'm pretty optimized right now. Right. Let's go crush it.
It is crazy when you look back at like old pictures from Vikings and stuff. None of those dudes are super shredded like six packs. They're big, thick guys. And now we're all like
drawings, not photos.
Oh yeah, drawings.
Dale Boyd.
I watched History Channel. That's not real. So, yes, but they don't have like.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the statues the Greek gods made, but those were the gods. Like,
Right.
So that it's like we have this sometimes unachievable body structure that people.
Well,
want.
I think that goes back to the same. We've talked about it before in this. Obviously, I deal with it some in one of my other podcasts that we have. But one of the things that we run into is I think a lot of times like social influence.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what's actually put out. Like we didn't put out the so. For example, there's a great little clip from Dirt Church, right? Carrie, I wish you could have made it. I'm glad you had the wisdom and the fitness to understand yourself to be like, hey, I shouldn't be here right now. That was good. That was wise.
It wasn't an uncomfortable shouldn't be there. Let's just make that
Yeah,
clear.
it wasn't. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, it was not a, these men are making me uncomfortable. No, it was a health choice. That could be, all of this.
Yeah.
Listen, it was a legit, Carrie.
Way to be mature.
Carrie, you explain it in the comments, just please. Anyway, long story short, I think that if we go back and we talk about that video, it's not particularly like the world's greatest video. It's more showcasing this beautiful piece of wood that you and Patty made. But you go watch it. We had second couple takes because we screwed up some stuff. So you guys didn't see those pieces, right? And we edited those. And what we presented was the best of the best. And I think that's the same way. Like you see Instagram's the worst.
Right.
Like if I were to pull up my Instagram and show it to the camera, I searched, I've told this, so you heard me say this the other day, but I searched like, I saw some scrolling along, doom scrolling, they call it, or that's what I call it. But I was scrolling along and there was like an attractive person. It was a woman, but it was a carousel. There was dudes and women in it. And I was like, oh, look at that lady. That's a cool looking tattoo. I just happened to click on it long enough. And I might have scoped her, but I did. Next thing you know, my entire feed is full of nothing but smoking hot tattoo ladies, right? But that's what the algorithm's feeding me. So now all of a sudden, the algorithm is supplying with it. It's the same fucking way in mountain biking where you see some dude hit a 30-foot, 50-foot, 60-foot jump that is in their backyard fantastic because they have the experience to do it. But many of us aren't. So then you paint that picture in your head. And then I think people run into the wall of like, well, I'm never going to be that good. Come on, that's stupid shit.
I think that's what's also fun about our videos is there's such a variety of skill set. You know, like we don't care if you're good or not. Just follow us in the jump line and see. You know, everybody's gonna make the video. We're not cutting people out because they didn't clear the gap or something. Like that's what's inclusive about it. It's fun. I love seeing the progress. Like our friends' progress has been so great. Even not jumping so much, but like willingness to do more than what they otherwise would have.
I just realized who Jaime was. He said "hable inglés."
Oh, yeah. He's so incognito.
He's just. I mean, why didn't you just join he said he couldn't get it to work. Why didn't you come be on the show?
He couldn't get it to work because his accent.
Yeah, probably. I don't think he's there anymore. I think he dropped. I think it's just Dirty Uncle Chase, who's probably at work still and can't click the link. Or Dirty Uncle Chase is dealing with absolute technological fails, which is also, that's how I can beat him. That's how I know I can beat Chase, is just technology.
Yeah, just technology.
I think. I could be a terrible assumption. I could be making an ass out of you and Umshin.
Maybe.
What else we got?
My social media, my Instagram algorithm somehow is just fat dudes riding bicycles. So I don't know what I clicked on, but here we are. You got the better end of that stick.
Well, I mean, but the only problem is like when you're scrolling and like the kids are standing there like because I'll do a one good thing and post it on there, and then I'm just scrolling along, and then I mean it's just like, who's that girl? Who's that girl, daddy? This is a true terrible story. You got to be careful. So years ago, I did this project, and one of the actors in it, she was beautiful, right? A lovely human being, and in this particular piece, we had like all the. It was meant to be this sort of misogynistic approach, but all the women were in like these bikini type things. It's steampunk. You can watch it. It's online somewhere. It's called Ether. And there's a young lady in it, and she's like standing up there. And again, she is a model. Now my buddy that shot it was like, dude, I've seen her before, which is code for, like we all know what it is. And I was like, whatever, there you have it. And he sent a picture to me on my iPhone. Now the problem with iPhones is, if you don't set up your kids' iPads correctly, the iPhone lives on. Now, luckily, it wasn't a nudie picture, but it was pretty scandalous bathing suit. Turns out she was she had done some business, but she was also like a lot of bikini modeling. But these are like the bikinis that are like,
Yeah, Maxim magazine bikinis.
yeah. Shout out to somebody else. Yo,
Maybe not
hope you're
listening.
But it. So the kids one day are looking at, now the girl has a G-string or, like a G-string on. And so it's like up her butt. And then all I hear this girl's laughing and I walk by and I'm like, what are you guys looking at? And I look down and they're like, look at this girl's butt. My kids don't know. So he had texted me the picture, but the picture, I didn't set up the girl's iPads correctly. This is like years afterwards. I'd moved on to Android. It stayed in there. And then, yeah. So I had to deal with that side of it.
We had a similar thing happen.
By the way, she's a Playboy model now.
Oh, wow.
She's done very well for herself.
Well, yeah.
And
actually,
she runs an empire.
Side note, my wife listens to podcasts now, but guess what one it is? The most dumb podcast that there ever could be on the whole entire planet, and it's not this one.
Damn it. I was hoping you wouldn't tee it up. That's what I'm saying. From the previous episodes to now, you would have let that one slide and I would have got you.
I know.
And now you've wit it up. Good for you.
I've gotten it. So, no, she listens to the Girls Next Door podcast. It's like
God.
those girls that were Hugh Hefner's wives or girlfriends, like talking about their so terrible experiences in the Playboy Mansion.
Some of it's cringy as fuck.
It's all cringy because it was like some of the things that he made them do, like just some pretty crazy stuff. But I'm like, wait, you won't even listen to Drew and I talk about real stuff? You'd listen to these dumb things?
Right.
Women, I mean, super classy. Oh, God.
And we need a graphic made. So I wish I could program it into our little board here that I could just hit a button and it pops up a graphic. It's canceled.
I never thought I'd have
wasted from Grand Theft Auto.
I never thought I'd have such disdain for Playboy models until she started listening to that stuff.
Oh, I can imagine it's not top 10.
No, it's bad. It's like if you walked into the Barbie mansion and she could actually talk like a real Barbie was talking, and you're like,
well, that movie's coming out.
Please.
I took my kids to go see Indiana Jones. And so I had a lot of friends who were like, that's garbage. This is back to algorithm.
Right.
This is all real. They're like just going off on how garbage it was and it's terrible and blah. And I was like, have you seen it? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, what do you hate about it? And they're like, I mean, it's Indiana Jones. Why? It's not going to be like the ones from the 80s. Like, no shit. The guy's 85 years old.
And plus we have technology now. So.
Right? I mean, the whole thing's different.
Right.
And then somebody was like, there's too many car chase scenes. No shit. He's 85 years old. And even in the story, the world, he's moved on, which means the dude's probably not in great shape. Okay, cool. He's still 85 years fucking old.
Right.
But he's in the 70s now. There's cars and stuff everywhere. Like, it doesn't make any sense that he would be riding horses. He has to for a particular scene.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Harrison Ford's not out running a ball anymore.
Not anymore.
He's driving.
That is correct. He's going to get in a car and drive away from it because he's smarter.
Because that makes more sense than an 85-year-old dude running.
But in 1939, there weren't enough vehicles, right?
Right.
So anyway, it's that kind of vibe. So, but their algorithm is just feeding them this negative stuff.
Well, that's what it does.
That's 100% what it does.
Yeah.
And I think that's the challenge. It's the same way of like, you brought this up at the beginning of the show. Well, pre-pod.
Yeah.
This is the 1 year anniversary of like, I don't remember what we called it, but it was basically like, fuck this. That's what it should have been called. We were just rowdy, angry and bitter and just tired of everything.
And it was one of our better podcasts, like
Negativity.
views wise. There was the negativity. That's where you're going with it.
Yeah.
Man, I need to let you finish sometimes.
No, I mean, I kind of strung you along for that one.
Okay.
I was just taking it. But my point being is like, sometimes we got to remember the algorithm feeds it and puts us in a mood. Then if you're negative and you're around other people negative, then that can make it worse. And it's just no reason to just compound the negativity. Instead, it's better to like take a second step back. And I think that's what that podcast was. We just vocalized it. We got it all out. And I think we rode that night and we were good.
Yeah. It's only when we're not.
Because it was
riding.
a Tuesday. I'm pretty sure when we did it.
We do a lot of Tuesday pods, so it had to be. Yeah. But I think it's like, man, sometimes we just get in our own heads. Like,
100%.
are we riding on a proverbial treadmill sometimes? Like, it's just not going. Nothing's advancing. Everything's just. But we've stuck with it, and it's like, oh well. Now we are on our own little unicycle or tricycle, whatever those things are, whatever those tandems.
Either way,
we're on a tandem, and we're just like,
we're on a tandy.
We're gonna keep rolling, mad, angry, happy, sad, and you can come with us if you want.
Yeah. All right. Well, the point of this show was to just make sure we always have a show.
That's right.
If you have not joined the super secret Ride the Rebellion podcast club, like Mug Club, from that other guy that got canceled. I don't remember his name. He was the Change My Mind guy.
Oh,
His thing was called Mud Club. But if you'd like to support the show, a couple of ways. Share it, review it. That always helps us, for real. If you haven't reviewed it, please go over to Spotify. YouTube helps.
iTunes, too.
iTunes helps. Any of that stuff, you can just rate the show. That's one way. You can also join the super secret Facebook club group. That's not super secret because we talk about it all the time, where you have a chance to potentially buy a shirt. And then anyone that buys a shirt is eligible to win their money back plus $25 or something. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you might get a shirt and then we give you money for buying a shirt. Like, it's ridiculous. So there's that. And then also, that's one way you can help because that goes in. And anytime you have a chance to share it or tell somebody about it, or better yet, communicate to us and tell us like, hey, I have a cool guest. That goes a long way. We're trying to make this a community pod. It just so happens that Dale and I are the two most chatty ones. And again, it's a public open pod. Like, anybody can jump in.
And you can ask some of our friends, like, we don't only benefit from this.
No,
like the
not at
small
all.
things that we get, we just make it rain. We're like Oprah of the mountain bike community.
Yeah, I mean, it's about passing it forward anyway as a
And
community
that's
goes.
like we said, we get more enjoyment out of that than this.
Oh, big time.
It's way cooler.
For me, it's way more. All right, well, that's probably going to do it for the show. We promised we were going to keep it short and effective this time, and we have. Again, if you haven't followed us. Oh, somebody was asking about shirts.
Yeah, ridetherebellion.com
Yep.
for all your shirt needs. We'll add some new ones on there.
Yep.
Not the ones from the drawing mill, because those aren't available. Those are only
Yeah,
available once.
the drawing shirts are limited edition.
That's right.
But we can toss some shirts up there for you. So go to ridetherebellion.com. Follow us on the socials at Ride the Rebellion across the board. We'll be on Threads tomorrow. No one knows. No one knows when they listen to this. We
And
don't know if we're
Rambo,
gonna be on
is that
Threads.
what that was called? Rampage? What's the other
Rumble.
one? Rumble.
We're not on
Man,
Rumble.
We're not on any of that.
We're not on Rumble. We're not on Twitter. But we're going to be on Threads.
All right. Well, you don't have to do anything. You just click your Instagram name, right?
That's kind of cool, though.
Yeah, so
know-
it's just Instagram.
But with chatting. And more hate.
Unless Reels, because Reels are really ruining my life right now. I just want
What?
to post a picture. I used to like just taking a nice picture. You
Yeah,
can't do
remember
that
when
anymore.
remember when Instagram was about photos?
Yeah.
Yeah, that time's
And then they wanted to Tic Tac our what life away.
No, I mean TikTok and Tic Tacs. I proxy talk. That's what I call it now. Proxy talking is where you just sit there and watch somebody else's TikTok. Like,
Oh, I
through
do
my-
that too.
Yeah.
It pulls it up on in the web browser on your phone.
I do that, or I watch it on Sarah's. Like, I'll be like, hey, I need to let me see what this Edward Dudes is doing.
I feel like I Snapchat talked before that.
Oh, yeah, probably so.
I didn't want to get my own Snapchat, but I was like, let me see. What is that?
Yeah,
And finally I was like, all right, fine.
I like sometimes playing Tinder roulette. Like, if you have a buddy that's on Tinder and you take it, let me see your phone for a minute and be like, I get 5. And they're like, all right, and then you just
That'd be awesome.
set them up for success or failure.
If you guys need Tinder help, let us know. Ride the Rebellion will send them your way.
Rather everybody. Oh, farmersonly.com. We got mountainbikersonly.com.
Oh, that could be deadly dangerous.
I mean, if you're gay, it's fucking
I was gonna say it's
statistically gonna
only
be amazing
dudes.
for you.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I mean, women would have their pick of the litter.
Ooh, it's like Bumble.
It'd be like a stumble down a mountain is what it'd end up being.
That's it. It's called Stumble.
Oh, that is good.
Stumble into something great.
In the woods.
Oh,
On a bike.
It's a serial killer. It's a serial killer. Oh, are you looking to get murdered?
Up next on Stumbling.
Oh, no. Mm-mm. All right. Well, that's going to do it for the show. Just remember what Dale Boyd says.
Stumble on over to ridetherebellion.com and get yourself a shirt or a date. Or actually just a shirt because we're married. There's no dates.
Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what?